Hi, I'm Gohar Vardanyan, and I'm back with another video for the Guitar Etude series. Today we have a very short etude by Francisco Tarrega. This is his etude in E minor. I have also seen it published as number 41. So as you heard, this etude is not very long and is not very difficult. So if you are a beginner who can already play a bar chord and you can reach from the 2nd fret to the 5th fret between your 1st and 4th fingers, then you can probably go ahead and learn this piece. The difficulty here is not going to be in the notes really. There's a couple of stretches that might be hard, but it does have open strings in there, so that is possible. The difficulty here is to make it sound musical because it is the same thing over and over again. So you do have to do something to it so it sounds less boring and a bit more interesting. And in this case, I'm not going to talk about the rubato because I feel like there have been many other etudes where rubato has been a topic of conversation. So here I'm going to talk about the color changes that you can do and the dynamic changes. In the music that I have, it already suggests that we start mezzo piano. And then when this repeats again, you do mezzo forte. So that's already there. So dynamics is something that you can use to make it sound a little bit more interesting. But then you do have to repeat that A section again from the very, very top. So not to sound exactly the same, what you could do is you can change the color with which you played. So if, for example, the whole entire first section you played at a neutral color, when you repeat it, maybe you can do something that's more warm, tasto or dolce here. And you can either stay there or you can go back to neutral for when the phrase repeats. That's something you can do. And then in the B section, for example, it starts at mezzo forte. And then it repeats again. So here, if you kept it the same way the first time around, when you repeat it, maybe you can do ponticello. And this could have been, I think when I actually played it, I didn't play in that order, but really it gives you that freedom to choose how you want to change it each time that repeats. One thing to keep in mind, however, when you are playing with colors, you have to make sure that you're changing the colors at the right time. So you do have to actually finish a phrase before you change the color. It's like if you're saying a sentence or some kind of thought, you're not going to change your tone of voice in the middle of saying something without actually finishing what you meant. So same way in the music, if you're going to play this phrase, this isn't really finished. It actually is longer in terms of your thought, what you're trying to say here. That's a little bit more complete. And then when it repeats, cadences and finishes. So if I were to change colors, I wouldn't do anything like this. That sounds a little bit sporadic and unpredictable and kind of random. That's because I'm just randomly changing colors in the beginning of the measure, for example. But it's not really every measure that we play, it's a longer phrase. You could do something like here, maybe change the dynamics here, and then when it does repeat, change the color completely. That's just one possibility. The important thing is to find what your phrasing is and find longer phrases, not just very short ones, so it doesn't sound too random, and change the colors exactly then. Another thing that happens is, because it's difficult to change your hand, especially if you are going from tasto to ponticello, it's hard to change it quickly. So what I notice beginners doing, if they're trying to go from a tasto, like let's say the next phrase I wanted to play tasto, I've seen people do this. Right? They're using that time, like, okay, I'm done, and I'm traveling towards the ponticello, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. But that means that you haven't really finished it, and your tone is changing while you're actually saying something. The difficult part is to finish this and then quickly change it, if that is what you wanted to do. And by finishing it, I don't mean just finishing the melody and doing this, where you're playing the first note tasto and then the accompaniment, you move your hand closer to where you're going. That still kind of breaks that phrase. The phrase isn't finished until you finish the accompaniment. So you do have to finish the last note, and then with the downbeat, move your hand wherever you're going. So keep that in mind when you are playing with the colors. So with this etude, after you learn all the notes, go for doing all the dynamics, the differences. Dynamics as well, they can change, like crescendos, they can change within the phrase, but they have to make sense. Colors, I would say in this period, I would stick to a certain color for a certain phrase and not necessarily change the color in the middle of a phrase. That you can do with dynamics if you wanted to do crescendos or decrescendos. And then mix the two together, because it does give you an opportunity to repeat the same phrase 6 times. So you could do something different each time to make it sound more romantic and just more beautiful. And I won't say see you next Monday, because I don't know if I will. I am still trying to kind of sort out my schedule to make sure that I can make this a little bit more regularly, but I will try to make another video with another etude sometime soon. So I want to leave you hanging for many months, and enjoy this one in the meanwhile, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.